God bless you guys. This is Sean here from Faith Brings Change. I just want to come on here and share this little bit of information. I'm doing my research, as I said, about the pagan roots of Christmas, and it's all falling back, coming back to the Bible, and it's turning into prophecy. Also, what we've looked at, things that have happened in history, and it's something to think about. I mentioned to you guys the sun god Tammuz. He was born on supposedly. Tammuz was born through a woman, Scimitar or Cimaris. They call her Ishtar. Also, where we get Ishtar. Listen to this. This is very important information. This relates to the 3 days of darkness and different things. And Ishtar. Basically, this woman Cimaris, she was the wife of Nimrod, and she was supposedly suspected to have prostituted herself, and she had a child, and so Nimrod found out about it, and he was angry, and apparently she plotted to have him killed. And she said that he was the first person. She said when she had her child, when she had her child that he found out about, like after he was dead, she told everybody that child was Nimrod reborn, and the sun god that they called it actually was Bel back then. Marduk or something, and they called him another name for Bel. And so she told everybody that she was the woman, and her child Tammuz, that she named Tammuz, was supposed to be Nimrod reincarnated. And she said he was a seed of the woman in Genesis 3 that was supposed to crush the head of the serpent. So he was the first Christ imposter. He's the first Antichrist, you could say. And so he represents the Antichrist. So they even named the month of June Tammuz. Remember, that's what I said in my prophecies. I was told at June everything would change. I saw that burning star come down, hit Earth. What's actually called Tammuz. And in Ezekiel, it says the woman was sitting weeping for Tammuz. And they have a time during June when they weep, because it's when the wheat dies, guys. And everything's green. Everything green dies, supposedly. And you'll see it spring up for another year, but that month Tammuz, it's named after the birthday of that man. Tammuz was born on December 25th. And see, I remember I told you I counted 1,260 days after I got that dream of that whole June 22nd, 2027, if it would be, or whatever June. And it would take you, at any point, it would take you to December. And it would have those two witnesses being killed during Christmas time, which relates. So you have Tammuz at the beginning of June. The month in the Hebrew, June, is named Tammuz in the Hebrew, and you also have December 25th in December, and so you have 2 days related to the sun god. Think about that, guys. The sun going dark in a time of June when it's named after the Israelis. I didn't know this. It was named after Tammuz. It was the sun god. So this other girl, she saw Elohim channel, a servant of Elohim. She saw a solar flare, and I don't know if that's what will happen, but a solar flare coming out of the sun, hitting the earth, and everything going dark, And so that would make sense why they would start worshiping the sun after that later. The sun god. And moreover, guys, check this out. There's some things I didn't know. I'm going to try to remember everything, because this is a lot of stuff. Revelation 9, it doesn't say how long the sun gets dark. It just says it goes dark. Well, I just looked up and found out that it actually, the 9th plague in the book of Exodus is the 3 days of darkness. This is what is crazy, guys. Death of the firstborn after that, the 10th plague. Well, you see the next great woe after the time of darkness in Revelation 9, what do you see? You see the 4 angels going out and slaying a third of mankind, like the death of the firstborn. Moreover, in the month of June, as I said, if God does do this 3 days of darkness sometime in June, whether it's 2027 or sometime in the future, I believe he's still going to do that, because we know that 2 witnesses are killed during a time when people give gifts to each other. That means you have to have about the time of June, and 1,260 days would bring you to December when they're killed. That's the only month they could be killed by, when the whole world is sending each other gifts. There's no other holiday like that, where the whole world is sending each other gifts, but Christmas. And what do you call it? I'm going to see if I can remember this. Also, in the month of June, that was the time when Moses received the, you can look this up, it's named after June or whatever, but that month is, that numbered, but it's the time when Moses received the 10 Commandments, after they were in the time of Moses. And as I told you guys, if this happens, in these 3 days of darkness right after, I'm going to be preaching to them these commandments and these different things, and different things God is saying, and relevance to the church today. And some of this stuff is new, you know, to these same instructions about how we treat one another and everything. But it's very much similar to what Moses had. And God did say he would raise up a prophet like Moses, and whoever didn't believe in the words of that prophet would be destroyed among the people. And we know God is not a prophet, you know, he's God. Yeshua was incarnated into human flesh, but he's still the Word of God. He's still God, and he doesn't need to be a prophet. But he came in human flesh to show us how it was done, to show me how I was supposed to be a forerunner for me, so I could be a forerunner for him, you know, and forerunner for all of us, really, to show us how to walk. But he said that there would be somebody like him, and so, you know, Yeshua's given me a lot of things, and it's relating to us. But that time of June, it's very interesting. And that was also the time that Miriam spoke against Moses, you know, for being a prophet, and God struck her with a plague. And Miriam, she also represents, you know, Mary, she also represents the body, the woman, the church that God builds. She actually represented that body of believers Moses was building at that time. For us today, what we call it the church, but it's a body of believers. And so that was the same time, these 3 days darkness happened, that same time she was struck with the plague. If that happens, that coincides with the church being struck with the curse of the earth that God sends out. And then she going back and repenting after that. After God sends that plague to her, she repents, and she doesn't speak against him anymore. And also, you know, that's a time, like I said in Ezekiel, he said he saw a woman weeping for Tammuz, and June is named as the month of Tammuz, weeping for that month, you know, because it's a time when wheat dies. And so it also represents a time when 1,260 days later, during the month of December sometime, the 2 witnesses are killed. So they're the wheat that dies. So it's a prophecy, 3 days of darkness to come. The 2 witnesses are going to go in the ground and die for 3 days and come up. And again, I don't know for sure that it's June 22nd, but I know for sure now that it's June. I cannot see any other time when the 2 witnesses are going to be killed other than December. So if they're going to be killed in December, that means they have to be preaching 1,260 days before. You know, it's just understood when you look at that. There's no other month when people are sending gifts. The whole world's sending gifts to one another. They don't just pick a day and say, let's just send a gift because a bunch of these people are dead. They're already doing that. But it's questionable which year it's going to be for sure. But it's something to look for. It's definitely interesting. That month of Tammuz is actually named June. I did not know it's named after a sun god. And so the whole earth going dark would be very interesting in that. It would fulfill Ezekiel, how he said he saw a woman weeping for Tammuz. The churches that were weeping in that month. Weeping for that month and what it will bring to them, you know. And there's so much other things I can say about that. Like I said, it relates to the birth of the Antichrist. We see this a bad character that might possibly be that spirit of that Antichrist, that official spirit that comes out of the bottomless pit. You see him coming out of the pit, and so maybe it's a prophecy, this being coming out of the pit, and then 3 years later he inhabits a person, you know. I think personally he's probably going to come out of the pit and inhabit a person at that time, 3 years, and he may not make his face known, or we may not really know who he is officially until, you know, at least the world may not know until the world government starts, until he kills the 2 witnesses. But anyways, it was something I thought I would let you look at. Look up that month of Tammuz. Look up the scriptures about it. It's in the month of June, guys, the sun god. And it's related to December 25th. That's when he was born, Tammuz. He's supposed to be a Nimrod reborn, the sun god Bel, you know, basically. But anyways, I love you guys. Just wanted to share with you some neat information. But until next time, shalom.